I'm going to actually ask Rock a few questions before I move forward with this. Because this is going to be a fucked up conversation, but it needs to be had. So I'm going to ask, what is the religious or theoretical or philosophical belief that all right, I'm going to see if Grok can narrow it down, and then I'm going to research it. So that I can say it in a way that's respectful. I have to fill up my water bottle while Grok is thinking. I truly believe that you're born into a predetermined income bracket. And that's going to sound fucked up, and I'm sorry. And some people consider this a caste system. But I don't agree with a caste system. And I'll tell you why I don't believe in the caste system. Caste system says if you're born into a middle class family, you'll always be middle class forever because that's your caste. If you're born lower class, you'll always be lower class, that's your caste. If you're born upper class, you're always going to be upper class because that's your caste. I have the belief that if a child is born into a wealthy family, but the child had a predetermined wealth bracket fixed at birth, and they were destined to be poor, that no matter how rich their family is, they will not continue being wealthy and they'll end up going in the direction of their fixed path and they'll end up poor. On the flip side, like Selena Gomez or someone, if there's someone who was meant to be rich, even if they're born into a family that's poor, they have a fixed predetermined wealth bracket and they'll end up rich. And then there's some people in the middle. Someone, say, who was born into an upper class family, but they were meant to be middle class, that's where they're going to go. And there's nothing that the fates, nothing can change that fate. So I asked Grok, and I'm sorry, but the more I watch people and the more I've tried to help people, I had a miraculous story, okay? I found success, fame, and just a nice, livable wage through social media. Fucking genius. Genius strategy. It worked. I tried to help so many people follow the same path as me who reached out to me. They can't do it to save their life. They could be sitting on a bank account balance of negative 27 with only Gatorade in the refrigerator and absolutely have nothing left. They cannot for their life try, because I genuinely am learning people are born this way. People are born this way. Like, some people can be famous and they can handle the fame, but they cannot handle the strategy behind building platforms. And then look what happens. They end up going broke. Or there's people who want to stream and they can handle the virality and they can handle having viral moments, but they can't handle the consistency, the dedication, the rules, and the discipline to actually make it and earn lots of revenue. They can't handle it. They can't do it for their life. If their life counted on it, they wouldn't be able to do it. I've had people contact me whose cars were breaking down, who had children and they had medical bills, who were facing being kicked out because they were short on bills or utilities. And I said, okay, I can help you, but you have to do this, 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 this. And you have to focus and you have to follow these rules. They can't do it. They can't do it. And it's like, why? It's so easy to do what I do. And then I question there's got to be fate in the way. You know, you can't be God. You can't play God. And so I genuinely feel like when I try to help people out who reach out to me crying, like Magical Illusions, who say they're struggling and they have kids and they're gonna fucking lose everything, they can't do it for their life to save themselves. And I feel genuinely that there's a predetermined, fixed wealth bracket that you're born with, and that there's literally, it's inescapable. You're born to be this wealth bracket, and that some places like India would call that a caste system, but I don't think it's a caste system at all, because I know people who had wealthy families who completely didn't do anything for their kids, and their kids ended up like either unhealthily codependent on them, or they ended up addicts, or they ended up struggling, living paycheck to paycheck. And then on the flip side, I had people who were friends who were born in like wicked poor neighborhoods, struggled, and they made it to like middle class and they did good for themselves, and now they live comfortably, and I fucking love that for them. So I asked Grok tonight. And how many of you guys understand what I'm saying? I just want a show of hands, yes or no. How many of you have thought about this, or you understand what I'm saying, yes or no? Me trying to help people, telling them to follow these rules, okay? You have to focus. If you want a battle and you want to pay your medical bills and you don't want to be evicted, if you want clean running water and you don't want your water bill to shut off, you have to follow my rules. If you want to pay to get your car fixed so you can drive your kids to school, you really have to do these following things. You have to mute anyone in your chat who's being negative and trying to sabotage you or harass your gifters. Even if they've gifted you, you have to have that boundary so that your stream isn't sabotaged. That's the number one rule. If you have a flock of people telling people not to gift you, you have to kick those people out and mute them. Number two, you have to focus on the game, which means you have to focus on the game, which means the third rule is that you cannot get into arguments with people in the comments. You cannot argue with anyone in the comments. Number four, it's ideal to only talk to people who are being nice and supporting you. Not just gifters, but like people who are just genuinely being nice. It's only important to just do positive reinforcements, positive feedback loops. And the fifth rule is to get competitive. Focus on the game. Don't get distracted. Don't allow people to be distracting to you. And if they try to distract you, ban them. I'm not here to argue with Mary Claus. I'm not here to be distracted by any of these people. Every single one of them who is struggling financially, who I've tried to help. This includes people from my hometown back when I was on TikTok, by the way. I don't ask them for a penny, by the way. I have gone out of my way to try to help people. They fail. Oh, number 6, the other rule. Don't defend yourself. People will create rumors about you. Erase that from your mind. Ban it from your chat. Only focus on your stream. Don't get involved. Don't feel the need to defend yourself, because the minute you start defending yourself, none of these rules matter, and people are going to quit supporting you because you look guilty. If you're on there defending yourself, like the most common thing that they defend themselves with is, I don't split with Adrielle, and they don't, right? But they look like they do because they're just sitting there like, wow, you have someone who just sent you 5,000 diamonds. And this is what you're talking about? You're not grateful. So the seventh rule should just be to be grateful. Because if you have someone who just sent you 100,000 diamonds, why are you focusing on someone who doesn't like you, who's trying to sabotage you and defending yourself? You look guilty. And even though they're not guilty, they look guilty. And then people aren't going to support someone who looks guilty. It's just that fucking simple. I don't get into negative feedback loops. I don't feel the urge to defend myself because I don't fucking care if people create rumors about me, because I put myself in this position on social media where people have the right to create rumors about me. Why the fuck would I do that and sit here and defend myself all day? But when people have the offer to follow these rules and make $50,000 a month, they can't do it. They can't do it. It makes no sense. It is the most frustrating thing to see a father with children who can't pay the bills, who can't focus and follow these simple rules to make $50,000 to feed their children, which means there's nothing that I can do. And it's got to be, money has something to do with God. There is something to do with money and God. And I know that money is the root of all evil, all this stuff. Maybe God invented it. Because if I am truly trying so hard to help people get out of these digs and not even I can get between their fate, that tells me that money is powerful and that I don't have control over pulling the puppet strings in someone else's line of fate. So I asked Grok, what is the religious or theoretical, philosophical, let me start over. I asked Grok, what is the religious, theoretical, philosophical belief that individuals are born to be poor versus born to be in the middle versus born to be rich, and not the caste system? Because if a person is born into wealth, but they were meant to be poor, they'll always end up poor. Versus someone born poor, who's born to be rich, will always end up rich. What belief is that? And here's what Grok said. The belief that you are describing is the Islamic doctrine of Qadar. Qadar, meaning divine predestination or decree, specifically as it applies to one's rizq, sustenance, provision, or material wealth. In Islam,